Do you know the reality of the construction of the pyramids of Egypt and the Bermuda Triangle? Did you know that apart from these two mysteries, there are many situations and events that, despite so much scientific progress, are still a mystery for us? Things, facts, or constructions that come up in the world that are difficult to understand for the common sense. It keeps attracting us again and again, and we want to know more about them. So today we bring you information about some of the amazing events and discoveries. In this list, first of all, we will talk about Flight 370, a Flight 370, which disappeared under certain circumstances in Malaysia. There were 227 passengers and 12 crew members on board. On March 8, 2014, the aircraft was disconnected from the radar 38 minutes after its flight, and then flew off its route for the next 7 hours, and was tracked on the military radar. But after that, all these passengers disappeared or probably fell. Surprisingly, the wreckage or any remains of this ship have not been found till date. Although experts believe that the wreckage of such a large ship cannot disappear so easily, it should have been seen in some place after a few days. But it did not happen. The disappearance of this flight is considered to be the responsibility of its pilot, because during the investigation, a video of a flight simulation deleted a month before the pilot's laptop was found in which a similar diverted route was adopted. Therefore, this disappearance is also called mass suicide. But at the same time, close acquaintances of the flight's pilot, Zahir Ahmad Shah, say that he was a sympathetic person. Besides, he was also fond of making DIY videos on YouTube. This means that mass suicide cannot be expected from such a person. One theory is that there was a runway on an anonymous island in its diverted flight route where the plane might have landed. But then the question is, why did these passengers not contact anyone? The question is whether it is possible that an enemy country of Malaysia has been able to hack the system of this flight and mislead it. Is it possible? There are many questions, but the answer is none. Let's leave this flight and its painful story here, and know about a mystery with heavy hearts that is surprising but not painful. A very interesting and mysterious discovery is the world's largest astronomy book, which is 30 miles long and slightly less wide, and it was made by unknown people in the nearby Sahara of Peru, a country in South America. It is also called Nazca lines. If you sit in a helicopter and start rising upwards in Peru's southern desert, soon you'll begin to see white lines among the light yellow rocks and sand here. The desert is so dry that it receives less than an inch of rain every year. And that's why these lines have been in the same state for many centuries. Gradually, these lines start to change into simple geometric designs. And going up further, these simple shapes come in more order and turn into some animals and a few other forms such as hummingbirds, spiders, and monkeys, etc. These famous Nazca lines have been a source of interest and surprise for today's world for the last 80 years since they were discovered. How were they formed? What could have been their purpose? And whether any other creature could be involved in their creation? In total, there are more than 800 straight lines, 300 geometric numbers, and 70 animal and plant designs, also known as biomorphs. Although the purpose of these lines is still unknown, some experts believe that they were made for astronomical or religious reasons, while others say that they were made for irrigation, and the animals made in them had different religious significance for the people of these areas. Covering such a large space is also said to have been made by the people of that time to please their gods in the heavens and to ask for their help. Or maybe this place was used by another creature as its landing site. No one knows. You must also be wondering about these lines, but there are still many mysteries left in this list of ours, so let's move on. Many people have seen a dinosaur-like creature living and passing away while fishing in a lake in Scotland. It is called Loch Ness Monster, and common people also call it Nancy. It is said to have lived in the depths of Falkness in the Scottish Highlands for centuries, but there is still no concrete evidence of this. Some believe Nessie is a surviving dinosaur, while others believe it to be a giant eel or perhaps just a hoax. Despite several attempts to capture the creature with a camera or sonar, the mystery of the Loch Ness Monster remains unsolved. That's really incomprehensible. The next mystery on our list is a very powerful explosion in Russia on June 17, 1908, or before the implementation of the Soviet calendar in 1918. At about 07:17 a.m. local time, the locals of Ivankai saw a blue light bright like the sun from the hills northwest of Lake Baikal, which swirled in the sky for a while and then turned into a pillar of fire, and then the sky became dark. About 10 minutes later, there was a sound like a cannon explosion, and his shock was so powerful that people fell down and shattered window panes hundreds of kilometers away. The explosion was recorded at earthquake stations across Eurasia, and the impact of the airwaves was felt in Germany, Denmark, Croatia, and the United Kingdom. In some places, the wave of these tremors was equal to an earthquake of 5.0 degrees on the Richter scale. The Tunguska incident was an explosion of about 12 megatons. The explosion on the sparsely populated eastern Siberian taiga uprooted about 80 million trees on an area of 2,150 kilometers of forest. This explosion is commonly called Alka airburst, which is the explosion of a rocky asteroid about 160-200 feet in size. If there is no crater at this point, then it is believed that the asteroid may have exploded at an altitude of 5 to 10 kilometers instead of hitting the Earth's surface. But the evidence on this Earth, which has been repeatedly analyzed in different periods, does not support this idea much. It is believed that this explosion was caused by the release of gases inside the Earth, called magma or methane gas from an explosion from the Earth. However, the Earth is not torn at all in this place. In 1973, American physicists proposed that a small black hole collided with our planet, causing the explosion by a collision of meter and antimeter in the Earth's atmosphere. However, to believe such a theory, experts have not found any specific evidence from this place till date. What is the cause of this devastating event in the remote wilderness region of Siberia? To this day, no one knows for sure. Of course, there will be many questions in your mind. But before you message us, know about this last mystery on our list, which will really surprise you even more. This mystery was actually a different kind of signal received from space, which was very different from the rest of the sounds heard from space, and listening to it really looks like someone is trying to give some message. Wow, called a signal, it is a radio signal, recorded by Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope in 1977. The signal was so strong and unusual that astronomer Jerry R. Eman wrote "wow" in the margins of its printout, and it became known by the same name. Despite several attempts to relocate the signal, it was never heard again, which has further surprised experts and forced them to believe that it was received from another planet. It was a signal. Otherwise, I would have heard it again. What do you think of that? These 5 unsolved mysteries are just a small example of the many unsolved mysteries that have surprised people all over the world. While experts and fans keep speculating, it is also true that we will never know the real causes of these incidents. What do you think about this? Be sure to let us know your opinion.
But why stop at just one video? Join our ever-growing community of curious minds by subscribing today. And the best part, it's absolutely free.